with the sea as a backdrop, sand dunes, soft sand, the Toyota Hilux GR Sport, the new version, GRS3 they call it. We're out in the Eastern Cape somewhere near Humansdorp. It's windy, I know it's windy, but that's what it's about, especially when you're on the dunes. But let me tell you, well, so far Leadfoot, who's behind the camera for a change, has made it to this point on the sand, and he's done a damn good job of it. I've got to give him credit for once. For once I'll give him credit, okay. But you know what? It's not him, it's the machine. The machine's done the job for him, because I've got to tell you, this is impressive. I'm Alan R, of course, MotorMatters, CHANGECARS, and all things motoring out here on the beach, on the sand dunes. Watch, because you're going to see a lot more of exactly what this new GRS is capable of.
Go.
Okay, well, my turn to drive now. So,
and my turn to panic.
Listen, I panic enough when you drive, so for once I can get my own back on you.
I've got you on video saying just how well I was driving and how pleased you were with how things were going.
You did pleasantly surprise me for a change.
It's my turn to compliment you. I haven't screamed once since you've taken over.
Exactly. So keep quiet and relax.
Let's enjoy the car.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it.
Okay, 165 kilowatts, 550 Newton meters of torque.
It's a hell of a lot of Newton meters.
That torque talks, right?
Yeah.
It's 10% up on both figures from the standard 2.8 GD6 motor. That's the difference. But you know what? It feels peppier than that. It really does. This thing, when you want to overtake, when you want to give a little bit of oomph to it, it's got it.
Yeah, it's all those Newton meters that's doing it. Yeah. Even though it's still got a fairly mundane and mediocre six-speed box.
6-speed torque converter standard. Yeah, look, maybe it's time Toyota caught up and went to an 8-speed eventually. Well, what do you think?
I wouldn't mind it so much as I mind the flappy pedals not actually responding when I want them to.
Yeah, well,
it seems better when you put them into shift across into sport mode. Mm-hmm. Then the flappy pedals seem to listen to you. But when they're in drive mode, you can stand on your head and they just.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, but you know what?
I haven't needed it in the car. I must be honest.
Didn't need it.
No, so
this is not as. It's like I said about a certain other bakkie in the last day or two. It can pretend as much as it wants, and it can aspire as much as it wants. It's not actually a sports car.
No,
it's a bakkie.
Yes.
So, like, what is it trying to be? And I think this one's actually a touch more relaxed than the other one, whose name I shall not mention right now.
I'll mention it. You're talking about the 08.
Yeah, no, you're not going to mention it. You're not going to mention it, right?
You'll have to follow me on the other channel to hear about that.
Okay, so I think you get the picture, though.
Yeah.
But I must say, I'm enjoying the drive. They've definitely done something to the suspension.
Well, we harp on about it, but it's far more comfortable. This is something I could definitely every day, no problem at all.
Yeah,
because it's comfortable and we're getting reasonably good fuel consumption out of it. It must be said, around about 10 liters per 100, I would say, give or take.
10 liters per 100 figure.
Maybe a little bit more. Looking at it, it's 10.8, but that's okay.
We also did some off-roading. Okay,
we've done some off-roading,
so that would have messed up the figures totally anyway.
Yeah.
So allow for that.
And
Look, overall, I think it's early days, but I've got to say it feels like a massive improvement on the previous version.
Yeah.
And what's come before.
Yeah.
In the Hilux range.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's got the JBL sound system too.
Oh yeah, we mentioned that in the short. It does look like it's a bit put on afterwards, but it's there, and you've got the inbuilt tweeter. So
correct.
They're taking their sound seriously, and of course you've got the woofers in the door and woofers in the back. They're taking their sound seriously. We'll crank it up. Well, I'll crank it up a bit later to see what it's like.
We'll have to give it a bit of a blast, but obviously we'll do that off camera.
Yes.
But overall, I mean, we're not even talking about the exterior now. That will come later in the video, so don't worry about that. You'll see exactly what they've done with the outside of the vehicle as well.
And you won't be disappointed.
Nah, don't think so.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, well, we had a good lunch. So now what happens after a good lunch is you hit the road again, yeah? It's Leadfoot driving. How's it, William? How's it? All right. Oh, gosh, I got you zoomed in.
I'm very happy behind the wheel of this
Yeah?
fabulously comfortable double cab bakkie.
GRS or GR Sport Hilux.
GRS Mark III, latest iteration of it.
Latest version.
I have to say, suspension on this car is outstanding. I love it.
It is good. It does feel good, and it's certainly capable on sand, eh? That we proved. So you got the upgraded 2.8 litre engine, which means you've got 165 kilowatts, and I think it's 550 newton meters. Up from 150 and 500.
Six-speed box though.
Yeah. So basically, it adds 10% to the power and the torque, right?
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's got plenty of oomph for overtaking. Can cruise all day at the legal limit.
Well, I wanted to say this is a bakkie you can daily comfortably.
Yeah.
Without it shattering your spine.
Correct.
And it's got all the toys. I mean, this is a Toyota with everything. It's got pretty much. I can't think of anything other than a head-up display, which is.
Come on, no, on a bakkie, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Look at the JBL sound system you got in
Yeah,
here.
that's true. JBL,
And
yeah, nice.
Your infotainment system is big, not too big.
Yeah.
And I'm sold. I think it's
No, I like it. I really do.
Plushly appointed, I think is the appropriate terminology.
I must say I'm liking it. From what we've heard, price-wise, we can't. You know the price, do you?
It's all the nines.
Yeah, well, we'll confirm that. No, we'll confirm that because we've got to just get it officially.
Well.
But, in the marketplace and to the opposition, it's certainly competitive.
Well, there you go.
Let's look at it that way, and I think that's the point. It's got all the 4x4 hardware as well.
Yeah.
Got stainless steel pedals.
You have a deflock, which is electric.
Correct. And rotary switch for that,
4x4 modes.
The one thing I'm still trying to find is more than one USB. But anyway, we'll find out about that.
And you've got this power button, I must point out.
Yeah,
which gives you extra power. And then you've got the eco button if you want to drive an eco mode.
So like most cars, it's a sport mode. It'll hang on to the ratios a bit longer, things like that. It doesn't change anything else. It just changes the mapping.
Correct.
But nice, pleasant. And Leadfoot, I've got to tell you, for
Very
a
happy.
change,
Very
you're actually
happy.
driving quite nicely, pal.
Thanks, Charlie.
So,
That's how we roll.
yeah, meet you drive soon. Joined by Tobisi. He's the product guy for this from Toyota. Tobisi, first of all, what a lekker launch, eh?
Thank you, Alan.
Absolutely. We're in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where we are. Who cares?
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
But not as half as beautiful as this.
Now, we've actually chosen the special one that's got the wrap. That's obviously not standard.
Yeah.
But GRS Hilux, GRS3 you're calling it, because the third generation you brought to South Africa.
Yeah.
Now, I knew the two quite well. I've driven it extensively. What are the big changes on the new one? Let's talk about that.
Look, thank you, Alan. I think on the front, the first thing you would notice is that the bumper itself has been redesigned.
Yeah?
So if you come through from the 4 bezels, you'll see that it is quite different from the GRS2. And one of the main things, which obviously is in keeping with the whole off-roading focus and more closer to the motorsport model, is that your normal models will have a bash plate in the front, which is going to be in silver. And the whole grille, the whole mesh has been redesigned from GRS2.
Okay.
So it looks a bit better than that. But the main thing, which obviously brings it much closer to a motorsport model, is this new curtain feature.
Okay.
So basically, this makes it a more suitable model for high-speed off-roading, because what you get from this is a very improved aerodynamic performance. So you are able to cut through, your obstacles and cut through the air much cleaner and much quicker. And coming to the side,
so you've not only enhanced the off-road, but you're actually enhancing the performance factor as well.
Exactly.
Okay. So just to kind of get it out there, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And on the side, as you can see, the rim design is actually different to GRS2.
Okay.
What you have here is a more concealed design with more of a central spoke versus an outward spoke, and this also even adds to the aerodynamic performance. And I don't think it probably goes without saying that we've been more deliberate with the wrapping of these rims, you know, going for the BF Goodrich this time around. Same profile though as
17 inches.
Yeah, 265, 65, 17.
Now the BF Goodrich is something very specific as well. Now you guys have chosen that tire. It's very much an off-road tire.
Definitely.
But we've had time now on road, and I must tell you, it's still pretty good on road as well.
Look, I think that was probably a very deliberate thing from our side to try and get that balance. Yeah. Because as much as we are trying to move Hilux GRS into that off-roading space, but we are cognizant, you know, of the fact that it still needs to be a dual usage vehicle, you know.
Correct.
So getting a tire with not as much high levels of road noise and tire noise was quite important in that decision.
You know, why I'm stressing on that point is some of your competitors, now I'm not going to name them, okay, not now, it's not about that. They, unfortunately, when they go to the off-road special, can I call it that, they compromise the on-road a bit. And I've experienced that a few times lately. And it's a case of, are you going to use it for what it's designed? Or do you just want to pose with it? Because this is a poser as well, am I right?
It is. But I think it's more on the fact that it's not supposed to be a thing for the weekends, you know?
Right.
It's supposed to be a thing that you are driving every day to work. And when the thrill, the adventure is calling you, you are still using the same car.
Correct.
So I think that's the beauty of this selection of this wheel.
Okay. Now the other thing is you have kind of made the wheel arches a bit bolder, haven't you?
Yeah.
From GRS2 as well.
Yeah.
It stands out. I mean, it's chunkier. I think maybe that's a good word for it.
Significantly chunkier.
Yeah.
A lot of design elements have gone into this. So actually, if you look at it, it's actually 140 millimeters wider in the front.
Okay.
Yeah. And that gets extended by 15 more millimeters if you go to the rear. So that's like 155.
Wow.
Wide.
Okay, that's significant.
Yeah. So from a stance point of view,
Yeah.
it definitely looks more
come
aggressive.
across the back a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. As you say, it stands right out at the back.
Yeah, it stands right out, and it just gives you that I belong in the off-road, and it creates that impression that this is a go anywhere capable offering.
Okay. Now, what's under the skin on this that's also changed? I'm talking the suspension side for the off-road oriented, because that's also a big factor here.
This is true. So there's been what I would call very progressive changes that have been made to the suspension from the first generation of GRS, which was back in 2019. But I think what we have here is more of a purpose-built suspension.
Right.
So you do have a larger piston diameter, which then gives you significantly better damping performance, which I think you would have felt as you were driving both today and yesterday.
Oh yes.
You know,
whether it was on the sand we did yesterday or on a bit of a rocky sections on this pass we've just done.
Exactly, and the placement of the suspension, of the monochip suspension versus what, say, your normal Hilux model, which is positioned inwards.
Right.
So this is outwards, you know, to then give you more of a very motorsport-like feel.
Okay.
Also adding to the wider appearance that is obviously created in the design element.
Okay. Now, the other big thing we haven't mentioned, you've carried over the engine.
Carried over the engine.
GD6, we all know it, but you've upped it by 10% exactly on both kilowatts and Newton meters to 165, 550. I must tell you, this one feels even more powerful than the previous one did. I don't know if you've adjusted the gearing on the automatic gearbox. Is there some little secret?
Look, it's not a secret.
Yeah?
It's not a secret in the sense that I think since GRS2, this is what we've tried to do. So it's small increments in actual changes. So there has been changes that have been made in the actual mapping of the 6-speed auto transmission.
We felt it.
You know?
I mean, on the road, for example, on an overtake.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's lovely.
It's amazing, right? Yeah, so as much as on paper the spec is still the same as GRS2, 165, 550 Newton meters, there has been some small incremental changes that, as you are saying, and I'm glad that you are saying it, because we're hoping these are little things that you can actually feel once you start experiencing this new GRS model. Yeah.
Okay, just one last thing. We're going to open the door, and I just want to take 2 seconds, because this is not the important part.
Oh.
But you've got sport seats.
Yeah.
You've got GR badges all over the place. You've upped the game a little bit on the screen, on the infotainment screen.
Of course.
And the big change, which I know to good old Leadfoot, who's filming us right now, is you put the JBL sound system in.
Definitely.
Yeah, baby.
Definitely.
So that's the big change there. And I mean, that's pretty much it on the interior, because you know what? It's a good interior to start with. So the last thing. You said you want the change from R1 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please. I mean, I would like the 1,000.
So for every one you sell, if you got the change, right?
Yes.
Because it's 999, am I right?
999, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, again, against the opposition, okay, and we all know who we're talking about.
True.
It's there, it's competitive. I'm not saying you're cheaper, you're there.
Yeah.
And it's a Toyota.
It is. It is.
Do we have to say any more?
Nothing else.
Tobisi, thank you so much for a lovely event.
It's a pleasure.
Well done.
Pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your drive.
This thing's going to sell.
It is. It is.
Well done.
You must try getting one for yourself.
I want one on long-term test. Now, I have a special way of finishing.
All right.
For MotorMatters, for Change Cars, and for all things motoring. He's Ntobisi. I'm Eleanor. See you next time.
Cheers.
Hello, my name is Michael. I'm the owner of Change Cars and the host of the TV show All Things Motoring. I have one mission, and that is to make a difference to the motoring public. Making a difference how? Making sure that you have safe options, making sure that you have knowledge. In that regard, it is my absolute pleasure and privilege to work with Alan Rosenmeyer of MotorMatters. The man with a hat. I'm the man with no hat. He's the man with the knowledge. Thank you for watching.